Nice. Okay, that's a lot of people from different colleges. Nice. Okay, we have people joining us from Pakistan. Hi, everybody. Nice. That's very cool. The best part of Selection Challenge 101 is that you guys can interact with people from different colleges. You get an opportunity to interact with someone from LPU or someone from Fatima Jana or someone from my college as well. The diversity of people. That's like the best opportunity here I can feel. Because that's the point where you interact with people and you get to know what all you need to do and what all you can learn from somebody else. So I guess let's start with today's session. So welcome everybody to Solution Challenge 101. This is the second event under the series, which is going to be covered this whole month. It's a web session. It's a hands-on session for you guys. We have two speakers with us today. Before that, I'll acknowledge, just address our organizers. So we have six organizers with us. It's Maharaja Agrasen and Pillai College, Maharaja Agrasen. We have LPU with us and three more colleges joining us today. And with that, just give me a minute. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the glitch. Just give us a minute and we'll start the session again. Okay. So sorry everybody, sorry for the glitch. Okay, so I'll start again. So welcome to the Solution Challenge 101 second session. It's a web dev session. It's going to be a hands-on session for you all and we'll help you create a project today. Starting off with, first I'll address all our organizers. These are the organizers for the main organizers for Solution Challenge 101. But these are not only the colleges that are, the members from these colleges are not only the part of this, but we have multiple more colleges joining us as community partners. And I am very proud to say that there are around 20 plus GDSCs today joining us. And you can interact with everybody through these sessions, through our Discord server, and gain as much as you can through this whole event. And I thank all my community partners today because that's where we get the diversity from. Moving on, let's introduce our speakers for today. We have Isha Jan with us. He is from Maharaja Agrasen, my college, Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Technology, and he's a web developer. Today he'll be helping you with the hands-on. Plus, we have Ankit today. He is from FETJU, and he is a full stack lead there. He's also going to guide you throughout the hands-on workshop, and he'll help you and address all your questions today. So welcome, Ishan and Ankit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Hi, Ankit. Hi.
hi.
Hi, Ishan.
Hello everyone.
Okay.
So yeah, today we are gonna make a Markdown editor. let me share the live link that we are gonna make.
Okay, before they share the live link, I'll add one more thing to the today's session. Just make sure to do what all they ask you to do, because you have to make a project submission for that. On the basis of your submissions, there are going to be some gifts and incentives for you guys. So make sure to do judiciously the whole project, as it's going to be very helpful for you. You can use it as a project for your resume as well, and the project submission matters a lot. So keep that in mind.
So
Ankit,
yeah,
you can go on.
so can I share my screen? So yeah, is my screen visible?
No, Ankit, it's not right.
Is it now?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so this is the project we are gonna make. Like it will pass the basic markdown. You can see it is passing the basic markdown. So here we will pass the markdown. So you all know what is markdown. Let me show you what is markdown first. So how many of you have written markdown files for GitHub? Yeah. So nice. So yeah. So we are gonna make something like that. Like you can parse your markdown into HTML. Like you can see here, it is parsing the markdown into HTML. See, it is the H2 tag, then this is the H1 tag. So we are gonna make something like this. It has the function of saving. So if we reload it, so the content won't be would be saved. If we delete it, then the content would be deleted. We can download the file as a HTML file. So yeah, this is the basic structure we are gonna make. So for this project, we are gonna use Tailwind CSS and React.js. So how many of you are familiar with React.js? Yeah, if you aren't, then no worries. Like we will cover some basics. Like how many of you are familiar with Tailwind CSS? Cool, cool. So yeah, let's start. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you to Tailwind's documentation so that we can discuss further. So for this project, we are gonna use White as a server because White is very fast. So yeah, let me make the project right now. Is my screen visible, Isha?
Yep.
Okay. So I open the CMD. Now we will, yeah, this is the basic command to make a React application with White. So White is a server which we use for creating web applications. So yeah, what we should name it MD parser, whatever you want to name it, and then you will download it. Then we are going to go to Mhm. While it's downloading, like I want to ask you guys, like how many of you like Tailwind? Like I am into Tailwind. Like I can't write CSS without Tailwind. So how many of you are here?
Can anyone tell me what is the major difference between Tailwind and Bootstrap? Just a simple question, one liner. What is the difference between Bootstrap and Tailwind? If anyone could tell us. Tailwind is highly customizable. That's correct. That is one of the biggest reason we use Tailwind. Anything else? Tailwind gives security classes. Cool. Yep. Exactly, Abdul. Yep. कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा. आ जाएगा. Wait a minute. We'll start. Bootstrap is component-based framework. Yep. Exactly. Bootstrap has easy UI. Yes, Bootstrap gives us an easy UI, but customization is usually Tailwind. Bootstrap is component-based framework. Cool. So yeah, people have idea about what is Bootstrap and what is Tailwind. Cool. Nice. And anyone know here what is white? Why do we use white? So it will get us a clear idea. We'll explain a white little bit more. If anyone could tell us what is white, or they don't know what white and
So
at
Isha,
least now.
Isha, can you do one thing like you can do the initialization like my desktop is not having
Yeah, sure. Cool. JS runtime. No, no. You're kind of correct. White is not a runtime, but let's make a white project and then we'll see what it is exactly. So let me share my screen and then we'll make something cool, right? Is using Bootstrap better instead of normal? Depends. So let me share my screen. So let's go to Tailwind website, right? And let's see how we make a new project. So let's get started. And here we have some installation guides. How to install Tailwind. Uh, my screen is visible, right? Cool.
Asking करना बहन.
Sorry. Okay. So we'll go to framework guides because we are using a framework and we are using a framework called White. So White is kind of a framework which gives us a lot of templates. So White has React template, Vue template, Swell template. So we are using White with React. Cool. So we'll just copy this line. I hope everyone is familiar with NPM. What does NPM mean here? Does everyone know what is NPM? People have used NPM before, right? Yes. Awesome. So we have copied this and we'll go to a terminal and let's make something, right? Let's make a folder first. Let's make a MD. Let's make a folder called MD parser. And here we'll make a project with White. And what should be the name? Any name for this project? Any cool name which we can use? Got for some name. We have to do all this along with you or just see you. It would be better if you do it along with us. You'll learn a more, or not more if you do live with us. Any name suggestion, guys, for the project? Okay. I don't think people are that creative with names. So let's go with a simpler one. Let's do Markdown. Cool. Yep. So see how fast was White, right? It took us like 1 second to do this. Now we'll go to Markdown. We do npm install. Npm install, what it does, like it install all the libraries and packages which we are going to use. Please slow down. Okay, I'll slow down. Just let me know if I'm going too fast or okay, I'll be a bit more slow. Cool. Now we have installed all the packages.
So yeah, I can carry on now. Like I have also installed.
Okay,
Let me share my screen.
okay.
So I will explain once more what Isha has done. Like we are using white. It's nothing but a server which we are using for Tailwind. Okay. So what we are doing here, we are using npm. npm is a node package manager which is used to download packages. Okay. So what we are doing, we are creating a React project with the template of white. Okay. Then what we are gonna do, like after that it is going to create a file structure like this. Okay, and if we run here npm run dev, so let's see what happens. Is my voice clear, guys? So this command is used to run the server, white server. Yeah, it's building the server. We will wait till now. So till now, you guys have any questions you can ask? You guys are carrying along, right?
Cache download. Okay, so I'll share one link, right? If you guys visit this link and just read for a minute, everything will be clear. It has all the commands and all the information that you need to learn in order to create a project with White and Tailwind, right? So just visit this link once and you can follow along the commands with us. We are doing the same thing. We have not like memorized all these things. Every time we need to make a project, we go to the same link and we read it, right? That's the thing. Just visit
So
this
yeah,
link once.
actually we are doing just copy paste, like you can see on the website also. Like let me share the website link once so that you guys can also see it. Yeah, I have shared the website link. So what is doing, like we are just copy pasting it. So the first command is npm create white at the latest, which means like we want the latest version of white. Then what I are doing, the next name is my project. It's the name of the project. Then dash dash template. It means that we want a project in React. Okay. So then we cd means change directory. We are changing the directory from the current directory to my project, the project, your project. Then what we are doing,
Ankit,
like,
your screen is not shared. It,
oh, sorry. One sec. Is it visible now? Yeah. So yeah, so I told you what these two commands are doing. Then what it is doing, we have to install Tailwind, right? Because we are gonna make project in Tailwind. So we are installing Tailwind. So dash D means dev dependencies. So dev dependencies is nothing but we want these these things only in the development only, not in the production build. So that's why we are using dash T. Then Tailwind, we are installing Tailwind CSS, port CSS, and auto prefixer. Don't think about these things. Just think that you are working on Tailwind CSS. Then in npm Tailwind CSS init, it is just initializing the Tailwind docs. You can see here, like here is some Tailwind docs. One sec. I haven't installed Tailwind yet. Let me install it. So we have to copy this command here and paste it so that Tailwind is installed here.
are you guys
After
able
that,
to follow along? Have you, everyone has done till this point? Okay, I see one yes. Everyone else? Yep, cool.
cool.
So please, if you feel like we are going fast or if you're not understanding, please let us know. We'll adapt according to it. So just let us know.
Yeah, the project is downloading. Then we are gonna initialize the Tailwind file. Like I will show you which file. Then we will start. Meanwhile, anyone has any question, you can ask in the chat while it is installing.
Download क्या
डाउनलोड क्या करना है? Bro,
Okay, so we
actually,
have, let me share the
yeah,
link
go.
again. You don't need to download anything. If you go to this link, you will see some commands, and those commands will download it for you. You don't need to download anything. Just go to this link and follow the commands. The first command is a npm command. What it does, it creates a project for you to get started, right? It will create a project for you with white and tailwind. After that, follow the next command and the next command. So we are doing the same thing. Follow along, right? We don't need to download anything. We just need to do this command. I did it up to second step. Then what should I do? Okay, we are on the third step itself. We are doing the third step. Third step is to install the tailwind files, right? Because we are going to use tailwind for it. The third step is this. If you run this in the project, it will install tailwind post CSS not affected for you. So this is the third step. And after that, we'll move along. Is everything clear till now? Ankit, can you hear it?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Like my network is not stable. Yeah, and now audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sure. Let me go ahead. Okay. So yeah, so we have installed the Tailwind CSS. Like now we have to initialize Tailwind. So what we will do?
Ankit, your screen is not visible. Could
One sec.
you share it?
Is it visible now?
Yep.
Okay. So we have to run this command to initialize a Tailwind CSS file. It will create a Tailwind CSS file.
Are we going to look into backend as well? No, no. This is project. This project is for front end development only. This is majorly focused on front end.
So yeah, it is initializing. Like my PC is bit low in these conditions. Anybody has any question like we should go slow or move fast? Yeah, yeah. Actually, when I share my screen, like the npm package is not installing. That's why I'm resharing it. That's the problem. Yeah, it's installed now. You can look at my screen.
No, no.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
No, no.
So
Your screen is not visible.
yeah, now is it visible?
No.
It's
Yep. Now it is.
okay. So yeah, so after running this command, we can say that it has created two files, tailwind.config.cjs and tailpostcss.config.cjs. So these two files are used for configuring Tailwind CSS. So whenever you are developing web apps using Tailwind CSS, so the main file which you will be configuring is this file. So yeah, so where we have to put the content. So we can go to the Tailwind website uh, and see that here it is the content given. We have to just copy and paste the Tailwind commands. So like we aren't using TypeScript here, TypeScript, so we can cut it. So yeah, so we have configured our project for Tailwind. Then what we have to do, we have to create an index.css file and put this put these directives into it. So we have a index.css file right here. What we will do, we will just paste it. Okay. So now our setup is complete, I guess. Now what we have to do, we have to run npm run dev. So let's run one sec. Let me.
Okay, we'll go to not to this.
You guys have any questions till now? Yeah, it's always fun. You can do alt plus click to open the server. So it's open. Mhm. So you can see it has created web app. It's simple template till now. So what we will do now, we will delete everything it is written here and create our own custom file. Yeah. So let me write hello here and see it is running or not. One sec. So anyone have any question till now? You can ask. Did you run all the commands? Stop submission. The project will be appreciated. Yeah, you guys will be given certificates for the top submissions. Okay. Now it's is my screen resolution? No.
No, it got cut. Yep, it's visible now.
Yep. So now you can see that we have written hello there. Now it's visible. So now we will start the basic structuring of the app. So you can see here that we have a navbar here. So we will first create a navbar with two buttons and one dustbin icon. So for this, we will create a navbar component. First of all, let me create a components folder. Yeah, it is created right now. We will create a navbar file.
Can anyone tell in the chat why do we separate components and not write everything in app.js file? Because we can write everything at one place, right? But why do we need to separate things? Can anyone tell us? Easy to read. Okay, it is easier to read, but any other answer? This answer is the core of React. File size increases. No. File size won't increase so that we can access them on it. You can access everything from app.js file also. So structure our React project. Structuring is different. Multiple use. Exactly. We separate our components for usability. Yep. Cool. That's the answer I was looking for. Usability is great. React makes component reusable. That's the core of React, right? So, yep.
So yeah,
Mukaddas, Anurag, Pranav, right answer. Okay, let's go further.
okay. So what I have done here, let me show you what there is a command raf cq. So for this command to run, you have to install it. Let me show you a package called React. Yes, ES6 package. Yeah, it is, I guess, ES7. Yeah, you guys should have to install this package. So what this package does, it gives us some code snippets which we can use to make our life simpler. Like if you write here RAFC, where it is not working. Yep, here it is. So you can see it creates a component, like the basic structure of a component. So from here we will start and we are exporting the file here. Now what we will do, we will put this navbar inside our app.jsx file. Navbar. So you can see that I have just clicked enter, and the VS Code has automatically imported the navbar file. So this is one of the perks of using VS Code. So yeah, we can see here like navbar is building here. So now we can further go and implement our navbar. So before going further, we have to remove the app.css file so that uh, now it's fine. Cool, cool. So now here we will start making our app. So first of all, we have a h1 tag which has written markdown, and after that we have a div dot right. So what we are doing here, let me tell you once. So there are two components, like this is one markdown and this is one. So how many of you are familiar with Flexbox? How many of you are familiar with Flexbox? Cool, cool. So if you guys know Flexbox, then making this UI would be piece of cake. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. Let me go ahead. So what we are gonna do, we are gonna make this one div and this another div, and we are gonna make it Flexbox so that and then give justify between this div and this div. So let me show you what I am saying. So here we will put two buttons. Buttons is download. Here. Now you can see that the default it is giving default styling. So to remove it, what we will do here.
Can you explain what's a flex? Ankit, could you explain Flexbox in 2 minutes?
Okay, sure, sure. So right, let me share one thing which is from where I also learned. Like it is the best documentation you can get for learning Flexbox. Yeah. So yeah, you can see here, you can learn from it what is Flexbox. So Flexbox gives us two properties to order our diffs into rows or columns. So if you guys want to deep dive into it, you can. I am sharing the link. You guys can take it from there, learn it from there. It's quite easy. So yeah, which property we are using here? Display flex. So what flex does? It you know that div is a block element. So what happens? It takes the entire space. So we are preventing it from taking the entire space. So that's why we are using flexbox. If you wanna go deep dive, you can check this documentation. Okay. So what we are gonna do? We are adding a property flex. So see, when I add the property flex, what happens? They all are in same place. So what we are going to do, we are put justify between. So yeah, now see, they all are something like this. You can see something like this we are creating, right? So what we are going to do now, mm, 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 mm. What is left now? Let me do one thing. We will show you this. So download and save is there. Mm, mm, mm. Let me make the font. So yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, like you guys should have Tailwind CSS extension installed. Like you can see, I'm getting IntelliSense here. Let me show you what comes in last name. So whenever I write here text, you can see I am getting IntelliSense here. You can see I am getting IntelliSense here. This is nothing but from the Tailwind extension from VS Code. So yeah, we are using it. text 3XL. So we are gonna give it text 3XL so that it looks somewhat bigger. So yeah, it's somewhat bigger. So yeah, after that we are gonna put a property so that you can see that the characters have some spacing between them. So for that we are gonna use something called leading, I guess. Yeah, not leading. Let me check the Tailwind documentation. So yeah, you guys don't have to remember everything. You can check the Tailwind documentation. So yeah, there is a property called letter spacing in uh, CSS. So yeah, here it is tracking. So we are gonna use tracking and widest so that letter spacing is 0.1 m. Tracking widest. So if we see now, yeah, this is something like this. Now what we are gonna do, we are gonna give some padding to it. Py px. We are gonna give padding at x-axis of 4. So 4 here is, you can see that it is also giving which property it has given. So 16px from the left and 16px from the right. So yeah, it is something like this. Let me change to Excel. Does it work? It is somewhat bigger than that. Yeah, it is. So yeah, now we have to design these two buttons now. We will design these two buttons now. So for the buttons, we are gonna give a background of orange. So Tailwind has, like Tailwind has number of colors from 50 to vary from 900. You have to choose how much, which color you want. So I am gonna go with 600. Let me see, does it work? Yep, it works. We are gonna give the both buttons same color. Okay. Now we are going to give some padding to it. Px2 py4 px2 py4. Okay. So yeah, you can see we have no space between these two buttons. For that, what we can do, we can again use flexbox. I guess we can use flexbox and then just give you have to justify around your not working. We can give some margin, I guess. And not here. Somewhere margin right to. Does it work? No. Yes, it works. So yeah, somewhat it is somewhat clear. So now what we are gonna do, we are gonna give it a text white so that it has white text. Yeah. Now we are you can see that here. one sec. You can see that the rounds around the borders here are rounded. So for that we are gonna use something called rounded. So what is rounded? Let me show you. Rounded. So yeah, you can see that Tailwind gives us some properties to access it. Like rounded Excel will make it 0.75 gram 12px. So let me try rounded Excel. Will it work or not? It is working, but I guess it made it somewhat more rounded. So we will go with LG. Not LG. Medium will work, I guess. Okay, medium works. So we are gonna get both medium. And let's do one thing. I have given more padding in y and x axis. Let me see. make it 2. So what this means, like, so we are giving padding at x-axis and y-axis both 2 px. Let let me show you. Like, it px in both x-axis and y-axis. So let me show you. Yeah, it's great. So we have made something like this. Okay. Now we can add some padding here. Not in y-axis also. We want to. Yep. Now you can see that there is a hover effect. So for that, what we will do, we create hover effect right now. So yeah, hover BG orange 800. So let me see what does it do. Yeah, you can see it now. There is a hover effect right now. So what it is doing, right? So whenever we hover, it is gonna change the color. So we are gonna do same for the save button also. Okay. So now the basic structure of navbar is complete. Now we have to just add some background color to navbar. So let me add some background color to it. Let me move to it. Yeah, it's near to it, but we are gonna make markdown text white. So let's do this. Yep, somewhat it is near to it. Okay.
Are you guys able to follow so
So
far?
yep. So till now, you guys have any problem questions you can ask?
Is the nav bar complete by everyone? What have we done till now? Or any questions, any doubts, anywhere you were stuck? What is JSX extension? So JSX is a kind of file which allows you to write HTML inside JavaScript, right? How do you get the orange box
How do
in
you get
code?
Okay, so for orange box, what we have done, let me share my screen now. Like, you know what is background? We have changed the background color.
Until your
So
screen is
what
not
we have
visible.
doing, yeah, it will be visible
Yeah.
in some time. It is visible now.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, if we remove this thing, yeah, we remove this thing. So what happens? You can see that one second. Yeah. So you can see that it has no background color. So if we keep border to it, so border is a property which borders the element. Border to border black. Okay. So you can see that it's the border around it. So if we give background to this the download, then it will take this border space and make it orange. So this is what we are doing. Okay. I hope it's clear now. Any more doubts? Or we should proceed further? Okay. So let's proceed further and make this 2D because these 2Ds now. So for this 2D, I will create one more component called uptown.csx and we'll use RM and we will pass it to the yeah, it is visible. So we have rendered a markdown component. So what we are gonna do, we are gonna divide this space into two parts, half parts. One part will be for markdown, and other part will be for preview tab. So for Markdown tab, we are going to make a text box right here. We are going to make a text box, and for preview tab, what we are going to do, we are going to make a div which will listen to the changes we are going to make here. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so text box is visible right now. You can see the basic text box is visible right now. So what we will do, we will style it further. Okay, so the background, let me give it a background color first.
Could anyone tell me why would you use text area instead of input? I mean, input also takes input, right? So why would we use text area instead of input? Any idea? Yes, you can write in chat if you have any idea, then you answer. Why would we use text area instead of input? For multi-line input, correct? For multi-line input, absolutely.
So yeah, let me show you what I have done. Okay, okay. So what I have done, I have created one div for Markdown and I have given it the 50% width and given it a background of 800, and then the text area will occupy its parent width. And then what we are going to do, we will make it the background transparent. I guess it will work. Yep. So somewhat it's work. Now it is somewhat looking like it. Then what we are going to do, we are going to make text white so that text is not black and would be shown to have dark background. Okay, okay. So now it's visible, right? And then what we are gonna do, we will increase text size to Excel. Okay, okay. So not Excel, it's too big. And let me do it large. Okay, it's great. So now we can see this. We have created a text box for this. Now let me do one thing. We will make it height. We will take the height of full screen so that now it has taken the height. Yeah. So yeah, you can see that it has taken the height of the full screen now. Now what we are gonna do, we are gonna remove the outline. You can see that here there is a background, there is a black border kind of thing whenever we hover over it. Whenever we go inside the div, you can see something happens, like you can see that some outline comes. Let me remove the background when then it will be shown more. Yeah, you can see that there is a black back border coming out of it whenever we click on it. So we are gonna remove it with outline property. Hide screen. Then we have a property of outline. So what it does, we will do it to none so that no outline comes whenever we click on the text box. So yeah, yep, it's okay. Easy transparent outline none. Okay, so this one, okay, this one.
I think it's spelling of screen, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's working now. So now we can enter text here. So yeah, we have to create another div for the preview tab. So we can say it a preview tab, preview.jsx. Okay, and we are gonna enter it on the preview. Okay, we can switch preview. I think it is rendered, but it's not showing up. Let me tell you one thing more. Like the React from React, what it does, like it renders everything inside this root component. You can see here there is index.html and it contains a div id equal to root. So what it does, like a React, whatever we logic we write, it renders everything inside this root component, root div. So that's why you can see something like here, root, where is root? Yeah. So yeah, it is there. Yeah, it is there. You can see it. We have to do one thing. We have to make this a flex box because it is occupying the whole space, and we want this to preview to come here. So we are gonna make a flex box. Okay. So we will put these two divs inside a comment. Yep. You can see now it's coming here. Now what we are gonna do? We are gonna go to preview console and give it some classes. So yeah, it is the preview. I'm gonna give a class preview and then we can give it a background of what is the background. We can take it from markdown easy to 800. And then we are gonna make it transparent so that it's visible. One sec. Yeah, you can see that we haven't put any margins between them, so that's why they are occupying the whole space. So let me do one thing. I will give it some margin left to. Yeah. Now what we will do to create this effect, we will give the whole background color gray so that, and we'll give it margin one and then put class and we will give the background green. Yes, you can see now it's something like this. Something like this is here. Okay, so now anyone has any questions till now? You can ask.
Are you guys able to follow along till now? Or anywhere stuck? Or any questions, any doubts? And if you guys are having fun, please do some reactions that we can see and we'll have more of enthusiasm in the session. Because interesting things are coming along. Now we'll implement the main feature, how to convert Markdown into HTML and how to save, how to download. So these features are coming up. This is just the skeleton of the project. So if you guys are having fun, please raise a hand or any questions, please just drop the questions in the chat. Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so let me continue. Okay, so now what we have to do, like you can see here. So whenever we type text here, we want it to render over the preview tab. So what we will do, uh, we will create a state variable here in the Markdown tab. So you guys know what a state is and what is the difference between state and a normal variable. Anybody know it? Hmm, yes. Hmm. So Isha, you can explain them what is the difference between a state and the normal variable.
Okay. So think of a program, right? Think of any code. And in code, how do we store values? I think most of us have done C, C++, Python, JavaScript, any of these programming language in our life, right? So how do we store any kind of value? What is it called? Can anyone tell me what is it called? Variable, exactly. So in a
Varying
variable,
variable.
we hold a, sorry, in a variable, we hold a value. And what if we want to update that value while the code is running? Obviously, if the code is running, we won't be able to open the code base and change the variable and then run it again, right? That's not we want. We want variable to change its value while the code is running and show the effect into the program. What do we do then?
Okay.
That's
So I
something
guess
called as
you guys
state,
have some yeah.
right? So
So
what a
I guess
state
you
does
guys
is
have some
it,
idea. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, go on. So what
Yeah,
a
go
state
ahead.
does is it holds a value, right? It will hold a value for you. It will hold any kind of value for you, and it will change. It will give you the functionality to update its value, and you don't need to rerun the program. You don't need to redeploy it. It will just update the value wherever it is used. So let's say I have used a value in my program, and if I update the value will update it in all the code base. We don't need to do anything, right? That's something called a state. And now it will be more clearer if we code it along. It will be more clearer. So Ankit will guide you along the code.
Okay. So
Please
yeah,
go
I will
on.
continue. So what we will do here, we will create a state variable for the text we are writing, and then we will show it in the console.log, so that you guys can see it. Okay. So we are going to go here and create a. So there is a function called useState, which is used to create state variables. So how we are going to use state variable? So yeah, what we are doing here, we will create two variables here. The use state gives us two variables. One is the actual variable, and the other is the variable, and the other is the variable, and other is a function to update the value of the variable. So we are going to name the value as markdown and the value as the function as set markdown. So there is a name convention that whenever you are making a state variable, name the variable as markdown and the function as set dash variable, set and the variable name. So this is how we are gonna do it. And one thing that I'm seeing that there is no padding in the text div. So what we are gonna do, we are going to give padding to it. P4, I guess it will work. Yeah. And from y-axis also we can give some padding. Y2, it will work. Yep. So now it's good now. We can go ahead. So what we will do, we have created a variable. So there is a on change prop. So what it does, whenever a value, whenever we write something on it on the text area, it will trigger that function. So what we are going to do, we are going to make a function to handle that state. Handle typing. You can name it anything, but I am not good with naming, so I'm gonna handle typing. So we are gonna give it handle typing. Okay. So whenever we create these types of variables, what happens? It's a JavaScript feature, not a React.js feature. It gives us a event variable. We are gonna call it event. So what event gives us? Let me show you. Whenever we console.log, Okay. Let me open the console. Okay. So you guys can see that whenever we type something, this object is being triggering. So what it gives us, you can see that there is a target. You can see there's many function, what we say, variables. So here you can see there's a target variable, and whenever you check the value, there is the value which you are looking for. So yeah, we are gonna take this event dot target dot value. Okay. So yep. Now let's create the screen, and whenever you write something, you can see that magic happens, and it is showing on the console. So yeah, what we will do, we will update the state here. We will update the state markdown. Okay, set markdown, and we'll give it the value event dot target dot value. So now we can see that we have updated the state here, and we can do one thing. Now we have the state here. So till now, you guys have any questions? Whatever I have done, you can ask now. Okay, you guys can ask the questions in chat. So no questions. So I think you guys, I should carry forward. Okay. Show code of previous once more. Review once more. Okay, okay, fine. I will show you. Uh, it's I haven't done anything. I have rendered two diffs and given the width half, like it will take the half space, and then I have given some background and some margin on left of 4px. And then we have the actual div where the content is being loaded. Okay. So now let's move to the further. Let's move to the markdown.jsx. So we have the content here. We have the content here, but what we want it to render here, right? So what we can do here, we will lift up the component. So what is lifting up? Like we want that data of this markdown should be passed down to preview, but we can't do it directly. So what we will do, we will pass it to the parent. So parent of markdown and preview both is app.jsx. So what we will do, we will create a function with the value. Like let me show you how it is done, then I will explain. So we will create a function const handle markdown, whatever we write handle change, let me write handle change. Okay. And what we will do, we will get the value here, MD value. Okay. And we will just simple console.log for now. Okay. And one thing is that if we want to pass a element and a variable or a function from a parent to a child, so there's a concept of props. So what is props? So props are nothing but the values passed from parents to child. So let me show you how it is passed. So it's quite simple. What we do, we just do something like this. So what is so this is the name which will be used by the markdown to access this value. So this is the name and this is the value. So how we are going to do it? We are going to destructure it. Okay. And one we can do one thing, we can call the function handle change event dot target dot value. So for now, we can do something like this, and it will lift up the component. Let us see what is happening on okay. Let me remove everything. Like if we type anything, see that it is coming from app.jsx, not the markdown. So yeah, we were successful to get the markdown value. So what we will do now? So we will pass it to the. So yeah, one thing that I forgot that we are gonna create the state in the app.jsx because we can directly pass the value to app.jsx. So we are gonna create state in the app.jsx. Okay. And whenever the state value changes, the components are re-rendered. Something to be noted. So we don't need this. Okay, we don't need this import now. Purchase it. So okay, so what we are gonna do now? Whenever we get the value, we are gonna change it to set markdown and the value. So now we are gonna give it to preview tab. Okay. Now let us see do one thing. Preview tab where it is. We will destructure it like we are destructuring the component. No, not destructuring the object here. Uh. Okay. So we have passed the MD value now. And what we will do with the MD value? We will console.log. So yeah, there's some error here. Let me fix it. MD value is not defined. Okay. JSX. Okay. So yeah. So the value name is markdown. Sorry. Now it should work, I guess. Yep. Now it's working. See that it's undefined right now also. So something we are missing right now. Markdown is there. Yep.
Could anyone tell us what is the error here? Let's try to debug it together. Why is it logging undefined here? Why is it the value not passing? Any idea?
So yeah, what I have done right now in JavaScript, we have the option of passing default value. So we are passing a default value of empty string. So what we will do right now, let's install. You guys have any doubt till now? You can ask if you have guys any doubt till now. Could you please send me to link where it will be uploaded? Yeah, we will share. Okay. Any of you have any doubts? You can ask. No doubts. Let's continue. Okay. So what we will do now? Yep. So we will install an npm package which is called mark. So mark is a package which will parse our markdown to HTML. So the basic command to install it is simple. We have to just run npm install mark and then it will be installed. it's installing. While let me show you how to do it. So to pass the markdown, it's quite simple. What we have to do, it provides us a function called marked. We have to use it. What happened? Sorry, there was a typo in the package name. It is marked. Okay. So yeah, we have imported it, and what we will do now, we will just do one thing. Let me do one thing first. I will show you how it is passing it. Const value will do not. Okay. So now let me show you it will work now. Okay. So whenever you type something, you can see here it's for H1 tag, right? So you can see that it's giving it a H1 tag. Now if we do one thing, if we go down and give it a H2 tag, you can see that it's giving a H2 tag, and then there is something for list items. So you can see that it's giving a list item here. Okay. And then there is something for checkbox. You can create checkbox also. Let me do it. Okay. So you can see that the checkbox is also created here. It will be more clear when we render it on the preview tab. But first, yeah, we are successful to pass the markdown to HTML. So we will just change our state whenever we get a value. Okay. So yeah, what we are gonna do now, we are gonna pass markdown to pair, and it's gonna be passed there. Now what we will do, we will now render it here. Now rendering it here. Okay. Anyone has any doubt on how we are using the markdown package? You guys can ask. Could you please come on, guys? I think you guys might have some doubt. No doubt. Okay. So give me 2 minutes. I will be back. Isha, you can ask some questions to them.
Okay, sure. So what we have done till now, we have implemented the header, navbar, and we have made two preview boxes, right? And we have used a state variable to hold down the value. And now next is we'll have to preview of the markdown. So can anyone tell me? I have one very interesting question. What is the HTML tag for radio button? Like how does radio button would be in markdown file? Can anyone tell me what is the radio button equivalent for markdown? Anyone? How would we write radio buttons in markdown? All of you know what a radio button is, right? Dash radio as IP type. Yep. Cool. So yeah, people know. And how would we render a code block in a markdown? doesn't even know how would we render a code block. Yes, exactly. The three ellipses would render the code block. Okay. And people here know, and later we will use something called use effect. So people here know what is use effect, and we will use it later. If you don't know, we'll explain it to you what exactly is use effect. People here know what is use effect. Have anyone ever used the hook use effect? No, no worries. We'll explain it to you when
Okay,
we
no
use use
worries.
effect.
We will cover it up. So yeah, let's begin now. So we were successful to parse the component, and now we have to show the parsed component here. So what we will do here, there is a proc called dangerously set in our HTML. So what it does is, right, like it will render the text whatever we write in the markdown in this step. Okay, so let me show you it works or not. Okay, one sec. It's not working. Yes. Change this composition. Markdown will be- It will do anything.
You can go to preview component.
Yeah,
We have the
let me
MD
see.
value coming up, and okay. Look at app.jsx. Are you updating the state with MD value?
Yeah, I am updating it. Okay, set markdown. You guys can also try and tell us what is there or there. Marked values passed, man. Yeah. So what happened? Hmm, Give me one sec. I will just-
So meanwhile, Ankit is coming back. Uh, can anyone tell me uh, how exactly use effect works? Because it will be used later. If not, I will explain it right now. So do you want me to explain what is use effect? Because next up we'll be using use effect, and it is quite a confusing topic for beginners. So if you want me to explain, please raise your hand or write something in chat. that I'll know. Okay, Himanshu says yes. Okay. So use effect is a kind of a function in which we can declare some piece of code which will run when a component renders, right? And we can put some condition also that should it render only should the code run only once, or should the code run when a state updates, or should a code run when the components get destroyed. So we have three conditions. The first condition is should the code run only once when the component is rendered. Second condition is should a code run when a state is updated, and third is should a code run when component is destroyed. So let's say in our code which have a state and we want some amount of code to run whenever that state updates. So we can use effect for that. And we have another criteria when let's say we have a component and we want some piece of code to run, let's say fetching data from backend or doing something only when that component is on the screen or only when the component is rendered, right? So we can use the use effect function to have some piece of code to run only once so that our program does not get slow, our backend does not get loaded, right? That is use effect. I think Ankit is back. Ankit, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Actually, the dev is not rendering. I'm finding the error. Like it should be rendered, but text out. Is it getting the value? Okay. So the value is undefined, I guess. I don't know why it's undefined. We are setting down. We are getting it from preview of JSX. Okay. Okay. One sec. Markdown. We are giving it to given dot target couple render change. Like okay, handle change. Preview. Check markdown. Now it is also working. I don't know why it's undefined because we are getting it. Here, markdown is passed as markdown.
Could you share the screen again? Let me.
One sec, I
Yeah.
got it, I got it. What's the problem? Okay,
Okay.
the proc value was in markdown, but we were getting MD value. So that was the problem. Okay. My screen is visible?
No, not right
Yeah,
now.
I got the I got the problem. Yeah, is it visible now?
Yep.
Okay, so let me tell you what was the problem. So what we were doing there, actually there was a markdown state variable, but we were passing MD value at the preview component. Okay, so that was the problem. So let me show you, is it working now or not? Yep, now it's working. You can see it's working now. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's working. I think we don't have time for the download feature. So yeah, you can go ahead, Isha, and implement the bug which is here.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Just push this file to some Git repository. I'll clone it and I'll take it from
okay,
there.
okay, fine. Let me try it.
Meanwhile, Ankit is uploading the code on Git. Um, Everyone is familiar with Git, right? How Git and GitHub work, the basic commands, pull, push, clone, merge. I think everyone is familiar with it. Yep, Rohan says yep. Cool, cool. So Git is very essential. If you don't know how Git and GitHub works, I'll highly recommend to learn Git and GitHub. And after that, since Ankit is uploading, so there is one bug in our program so far, and it will be more evident when I show it. But let me tell you, Tailwind does not let you pass tags like H1, H2, H3 by default, right? I mean, it will pass H1, H2, H3, but it restricts their size. They won't be as big as they were in HTML. So how would we conquer that bug? Because we want that to render, right? We want that to render as a bigger font size. Okay, Ankit is
Yeah,
uploading the
Ishwar,
code
I
here.
shared the link. I shared them.
Yep. So let me just share my screen and I'll walk you through how to. Okay, my screen is visible. Let me just copy the URL here. Do you guys use HTTPS for Git or SSH? I prefer SSH. What do you guys use? Let me know. Because I'm curious. I don't use HTTPS that generally. Um, Let me clone it. Okay, so the repository is cloned. Now what would I do? I'll install all the packages, right? Because without the packages, the code won't work. So what npm install does, npm install will install all the packages that has been used in this code base, right? So that is the important step. Never forget to install the packages. And yep, I've installed the packages. Now let me open my code editor. Okay, so my code editor is opening up and I'll also run this locally. Npm run dev would run it locally. Okay, let's go to 5173. See if it's working. Yep, so it's working. My code base is also opened up. Awesome. So let's go to component. Let's go to preview. Cool. Okay, one more thing. Are you guys familiar with this dangerous set inner HTML? What it does? This thing, dangerously set inner HTML, because it sounds very scary, right? I would highly recommend to look into this and when to use and when not to use this. This is a very interesting thing in React. Okay, so let's figure out the bug. What is the bug here? If I'm typing something, it is getting typed, right? It seems like everything is working. The list is, let's say, working, right? So this is for block, right? This tag is for rendering headers, but you can see it is not rendered as header, right? It is a simple text. So what its Tailwind does, Tailwind restricts the sizes to its own base sizes. Yes, render HTML, otherwise it throws the HTML tags. Cool, yep, exactly. But this is right. So now what would we do? We'll use something called Tailwind typography, right? See, I visited this link, I think 2 days before when I was building this. So it's popular. We'll use something called Tailwind typography. And what this typography does, that it will allow your HTML tags to work in your code base. it won't pull you down, right? See, typographic defaults to any version of HTML you don't control, like HTML rendered from Markdown. So we want this, right? We want HTML to be rendered from Markdown. We want this. So we are going to use Tailwind CSS typography. Cool. Okay, how does it exactly work? We'll have to install this thing. We'll have to install a dependency called Tailwind typography. So just go here. Let's install this, right? And run this. And we'll have to require it here. In Tailwind config, we'll have to tell the Tailwind file that we are using something called typography. So how do we tell Tailwind that we are using some customization? We do it by adding plugins, right? We added that plugin. Now Tailwind knows that we are using something called typography. And how do we use in our file? We use something called pros. Pros is the class, right? So let's just copy the pros class. And where do we want to use it? We want to use it in the preview HTML, preview component, right? So here we'll just add something called pros. And clear so far? Why we are using pros and why we're using typography? Is it clear?
Yep, go ahead.
So, okay. Now let me do the header. Let's see. If you look closely, the header is getting rendered, right? But it is the default color. The color is black, and black, as you know, is the default color in tags. Sorry, text in web, right? So we want to invert the color, right? Because if black invert okay white icon, it would look cool, right? We want to invert the colors. So for that, we'll use something called pros, and we'll just invert it, right? I think invert is the name. Let me look in the code docs. Let's just look into the doc. If I can remember, yeah, invert. Invert is the name of the class. So we are using invert. What it does that it is inverting the default setting. So the black text would look as white, right? Now, if we do this, see, wait. So, why did I remove the invert? Oh, my bad. It was a dash. Sorry, guys, it was a dash. My bad. Now it should be working fine, if I'm not wrong. Yep, see. Now Tailwind knows that we are using typography files in here. So it is not overriding the default sizes. It is allowing us to render a markdown file, right? So it is working, right? We can write some code. Let's try to write some code. We can also use block quotes. Block quotes is a kind of thing. Yeah, see, you can use quotes in Markdown also. So we have overridden that bug. Is it clear now? How did we override the bug? By using something called pros, right? Now the next thing is, let's say we want to, download the Markdown file, right?
Isha, I
Mhm.
think we have exceeded our time. So, like, we can give them some tasks to complete. Like, they can make the download
Cool,
and save feature. Okay.
cool.
And
So
we will give prize. We will give certificate to those who will implement the download and save feature. Yep.
okay, okay. So let me
So,
go to the deployed app. If we go to the deployed app, it has some extra features that we want you guys to complete. And it's not that difficult. It is kind of easy. So we have high return here. And if I refresh it, I think it will be lost. I'm not wrong. Yep, see. But if I save it, let's say I saved it. Your progress has been saved. And I say okay. And if I refresh it, it's not lost. So this is one feature I want you guys to implement. One hint, do not think in terms of backend, think in terms of any database. Your browser also gives you some database. Think in terms of that, it will help you. Next feature I want you to implement is the delete feature. Let's say I've written something, right? I've written some gibberish, anything, and I want to delete all of it. So you can either like control A, right? And then do this. It's cool, it's fine, but it's not like that cool, right? So we want to implement delete feature. So if we delete something, it has been deleted. And if I now refresh it, gone from there also, right? So then third feature is download feature. So what would download feature do is, let's say my name is Ishwar, and if I click the download thing, it will prompt me to download a markdown file. Okay. So these three features I want you guys to implement. Save feature could be done using local storage. Same thing with delete. Play with local storage and play with some of the states. And download feature, try to think how do we download something from internet. It's a very easy task. It's not that difficult. So
You can think of something. I will give you one hint. Like you can use blob object. I will give you one hint. You can go and ahead and research about it for downloading.
any doubts, any questions so far? How did we override that bug, and what is Tailwind Pros exactly does? What is this thing? I would highly recommend you to at least read this once, because you will be using this all over your development cycle. Whenever you want custom HTML to be rendered from somewhere, you guys will be using it a lot. So, no, all clear. That's awesome. Anyone else? Any doubts? Any doubt about React or Tailwind in general? If we have some 5 minutes, we can answer it. At last, do we go and get the code for this file? Yes, yes, yes. Obviously, you will get the codes. So the link which Ankit pasted earlier, the code will be uploaded there only. I'll paste it again. You can clone it from there and run it locally. But I would say that try to make this from scratch by yourself also. It will help you to learn more. But this link has all the code, what we have done so far. Anyone else? Any query? Anything? Or did you
Isha,
guys
can
have
you
fun?
stop sharing your screen?
Yes. Did you guys learn something new today? Did you guys have fun? Just let me know.
So yeah, one more thing, guys, you have to implement this by 9 p.m. today only. So you have, we have implemented the basic structure and the basic functionality of the app. You guys have to just implement save feature and the download feature. Save and delete are complementary. You guys can implement. Yeah, Bhumika can take it from here.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Ankit and Isha, for like this such a good project. It was quite informative from your side. Okay, so for the submission, like he mentioned, the submission has to be before 9 p.m. today. And the form, we can scan the QR code and submit a project on this form. We'll be providing and badges to people who top three to top five projects on the basis of the finishing of the download part and the save part, like Isha mentioned. Other than that, if you have any questions for these guys or something related to Solution Challenge 101, please do ask, or else we'll wrap up the session now.
Feel free to ask your queries, everyone, about the
If,
project, about anything.
yeah, and the project topic.
No,
Okay.
you don't have to make something from scratch. You just have to implement the two features which I told. The first one is saving feature so that you don't lose your progress, and second is downloading. So that is your task. It's not a new topic. You have to extend this thing only further, right?
The whole
If you
project.
guys if you guys are familiar with Java JS topics, then you guys can do it very easily. It's not something React specific.
And don't worry about the recording. It will be shared on the Diversity in GDSC YouTube channel. Plus, the GitHub repo for this project will also be shared there. So, if you want to practice again or create a project out of it for yourself, you can do it. Everything is provided to you guys. Just make sure to submit it before 9 p.m. today because the forms will be closed after that. If there's anything else you want to know, please do ask, or else we'll wrap up the session. So I guess there aren't any other questions. So thank you so much for staying here, for sitting till the end. This was like a special session we planned for you guys because hands-on on web is something that you don't get frequently, but good stuff is something you need. So this is for you guys. Thank you so much for joining and see you next time. Bye everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you, Isha.